Hey everybody, Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors, and today's contract tip has to do with Airbnbs or VRBOs or short-term rentals. You as a real estate agent, how do you handle these being a real estate agent? So I just briefly always want to encourage you to go to your own broker and check on your own broker's policies. But with respect to license law, there are a couple of things we must keep in mind. So when you are looking at an Airbnb or a VRBO, it is a short-term rental. And when we look at rentals, agent as principal with license law, we have to take into consideration a couple things. Number one is you must have a real estate license here in Georgia to manage property for others. Now, you don't need a real estate license to manage property for yourself or that you own, but if you are going to manage property for somebody else, that does require a real estate license. And in addition to that, that type of property management activity must go through a real estate firm that is registered with the Georgia Real Estate Commission with a qualifying broker. So just because you have a real estate license does not give you the legal authority to manage property for others outside of any broker or brokerage that is registered with the Georgia Real Estate Commission. Now, for property that you own, you absolutely, per license law, may manage property you own. Now, you do need to check with your broker and your broker's policies regarding agent as principal for any real property, whether it be buying something, selling something, renting something, leasing something, or doing an option on something. Now, let's talk about the biggest thing has to do with trust money or the security deposit. And license law states, well, Georgia law in general says that if there are people on title to a property who do not have a real estate license, then they, okay, let me back up. If you do not have a real estate license, you may hold security deposits as long as you are the only one on title. So there can't be anyone on it. If it is just a public person holding a security deposit, they may hold security deposit in any type of account until they have 10 or more rentals, and then those funds must be held in a trust account. But I'm talking to you. Hopefully, if you're watching, you do have a real estate license. License law states that you as a licensed agent here in Georgia may hold a security deposit or earnest money, any kind of trust funds or escrow funds, as long as you, the agent, are the 100% sole owner on title. Or if that property is owned by an LLC or some other sort of corporate entity, you must be the sole member of that LLC. Funds must be held in a designated trust account. The trust account must be registered with the Georgia Real Estate Commission, and Greg does have full access to the accounting of this account at any time. Here's the kicker, though. Who can register that trust account with Greg? Your agent-owned trust account with Greg. Only your qualifying broker. So again, it does depend on your broker's policies. If your broker does allow you as an agent to have a trust account and to hold security deposits or any type of escrow funds, your broker has to register that account with Greg. You must send your broker a quarterly reconciliation of that trust account. Now, your broker may have some sort of additional policies. Again, check with your broker. And then you as an agent must abide by all the license laws surrounding trust accounts that apply to brokerages as well. Please check with the license laws or take our license laws classes regarding everything that is involved with license law and holding escrow funds. So license law also says that you may not hold a security deposit or earnest money. I'm sorry, I already said that. So a lot of brokers will not allow their agents to have their own trust accounts because as a broker, I'm responsible for those funds in that account to Greg, but I'm not a signer on that account. I don't have access to that account. I just have to go by your quarterly reconciliation. Now, Greg has full access to that account, but I don't. So a lot of brokers won't allow you to hold your own trust account where you can hold other people's security deposits or even earnest money if you're buying or selling. So again, how does this all apply to, especially, I mean, this applies to rentals in general, long-term rentals, but how does it apply to short-term rentals? Well, typically what happens if a brokerage does not allow an agent to have their own trust account, what happens is the agent, they can still have rental property with security deposits, and in this situation, they could own it with someone who is not titled, whether that be a significant other, a child, in an LLC with other business partners, so forth and so on. But those trust funds either must be held by your broker or you have to hire a property management company. So in the case of brokers, typically what a broker would require is that you turn in that trust money into the brokerage and the broker holds it in their trust account. You create a transaction in whatever online transaction management system your broker has. Typically, we need a copy of the lease, a copy of a move-in form, and any other document signed by the parties. And then to release the security deposit at the end of the lease, we would require a signed move-out inspection and go by the lease, or else have to comply with timeframes and notices per Georgia Landlord-Tenant Laws. So in the case of, now the broker typically isn't going to manage the property. You manage the property and you deal with rents in a long-term rental. But in a short-term rental, if you do take a security deposit, this typically would be the procedure that you would have to follow per license law. And then if there's no move out or no provisions for that in the lease, and there are also some time delays in getting those security deposits back to the tenant, again, in a short-term rental. So a couple things. Just wanted you to keep in mind that it can be an issue with short-term rentals. You definitely need to check with your own broker regarding their policies, regarding how they are handling security deposits on things such as an Airbnb, VRBO. What do you do? Well, number one, if you are going to take a security deposit on these short-term rentals, perhaps you don't label it as a security deposit or don't label it as escrow money. It is escrow money, trust fund money by its definition that is protected and is addressed in Georgia license law in terms of how it must be handled. So get with your broker. Perhaps you can call these deposits something other than a security deposit on some short-term rentals so that you don't have to go through this process regarding where it gets deposited, how it gets held, and how it gets dispersed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors, satisfying your needs with service, innovation, and education. Bye. If you like that video, check out the one here. If you like the content on this entire channel, please click here to subscribe. I try to take even the most complicated of real estate situations and make them crystal clear. See what I did there? Real estate made crystal clear. Thank you guys so much for watching.